from yesterday, I'd say is not the Gamers 2 of today, as they looked incredibly dominant going up against Invaders, who they themselves had some pretty solid early game antics versus Restin' Pepperonis. So if Gamers 2 have amped up their game, they might be able to come back and beat Restin' Pepperonis. However, Team Rip has been incredibly powerful this entire tournament. Have they lost a game? No. Have they had a close game? Kind of. They've had some amazing turnarounds with some throws of the century, but overall, Rip has just looked incredibly reliable, incredibly solid.
Yeah, they've been really strong. And it's also worth pointing out the Gamers 2 got 2-0'd by Invaders yesterday in their first round game. That was their first matchup, and they got beaten pretty soundly. I'm So Fresh went kind of nuts on his Jungle Nunu and just destroyed Gamers 2. And Ocelot actually tweeted out that they were going to look to get revenge today. So bringing a lot of motivation here into day number 2. And we'll see if they can carry that through the grand finals and get some success out of this one. Bans already done. Restin' Pepperoni's going to ban out Irelia Jax and Nocturne. The bans from Gamers 2 going to be Lulu, Cassidon, and LeBlanc. So both teams pretty much focused on taking out the solo laners, with the one Nocturne ban getting thrown out by Restin' Pepperonis against Morden.
And of course, Nocturne has just been really common as a pick, especially with apparel flare changes from way back when. All of a sudden, you have this very strong farm-oriented jungler that does well with DPS items. And oh look, there's an amazing DPS item in the game. Kha'Zix is still left open though. It's someone we saw banned versus Gamers 2 quite a bit last match, and he is still a very dominant, powerful champion. Really, a lot of purple being banned out. Nocturne a little bit purplish.
Yeah, purple's kind of the broken color in League of Legends right now. And of course, the Kha'Zix could go, pretty much anywhere. Ko loves jungle Kha'Zix. Alex Hitch played some Kha'Zix yesterday against Ryze in the top lane as a counter pick and had a really nice time of it. So Restin' Pepperoni picking up the very high priority pick without necessarily giving away any of their strategy or lane compositions.
Which really puts Gamers 2 into an awkward position, because you can plan around countering that Kha'Zix in lane, for example, but if you end up with a bad matchup, you end up in a very rough situation, with the general Kha'Zix still able to do quite a lot. Really being looked at for the mid lane, tossing out those spears, someone that Ocelot's quite proficient with. It would be a solid pick. We've seen a lot more punishment of Nidalee's coming from, I'd say, Korea, and especially in the OGN, where it's a lot more aggressive, engaged style lineups, where it doesn't give a chance for Nidalee to actually land spears before a fight breaks out. So I might see something like that coming out. Kha'Zix actually kind of works with that already because of the leap, but you do want some items beforehand. You need to have enough burst to actually be useful to team fight.
We'll see if he's able to make that happen. The support pick for Dude going to be Thresh as well, getting locked in by Morden. And now we're looking back over to Restin' Pepperonis. It seems as though they're going to lock in their bottom lane here. They're showing us Lucian and Nami right now. We'll see if that's going to be the final lock-in. There was a brief moment where they also showed us a bit of Fizz as a potential counter pick to Nidalee. And I would love to see Noobdub play some more Fizz.
Fizz is a hell of a champion. He can do a lot, but he's incredibly difficult to play. And if something goes wrong, he can stay behind for an entire game based off the first 3 or 4 minutes of play.
Ooh, Twitch Nami going to be the lock-in.
Oh, that is terrifying. That is terrifying.
Freeze loves that Twitch. Twitch was a huge part of that comeback win yesterday against Mousesports. Mousesports? No, against Invaders, where they were down 10,000 gold at the 15-minute mark, and he just picks up a huge triple kill outside of the Baron and just completely turns the game around for his team. So not really all that surprising to see them prioritizing that pick for him.
Shifting the meta from purple to green. But yeah, that Rat-a-tat, that mid to late game team fight contribution of Twitch is massive. If you don't get the 5-man Rat-a-tat and you still just pick off one person, that's still one person that Twitch can pick off from such a massive range that it outranges everything compared to other AD carries. Even Kog'Maw, even Tristana can't compete with that max range Rat-a-tat.
Indeed, they cannot. Going back over here to the side of Gamers 2. We got 5 more seconds to lock in their picks here. They're showing us a potential Lee Sin pick, which would be as much picking it for Morden as it would be picking it away from Ko. And it looks as though Yuki... Okay, he's going to get the Lucian at the very last second. So Lee Sin and Lucian going to be the lock-ins here, and we're just short another solo laner for the side of Gamers 2. Wow, no hesitation at all. Quick pickups here from the side of Restin' Pepperonis. They grab up the Kale and the Twisted Fate.
Ooh. That's a fun little bit of aggression right there. Twisted Fate, of course, an aggressive ganking mid laner. He can win his lane, but more importantly, Nidalee has some issues punishing him early on. Once Nidalee hits level 6, if there's some room for chase, Twisted Fate can eventually end up in danger, but for the most part, you just hide behind the waves, avoid spears, and it's a safe farm lane for Twisted Fate, which means he can hit level 6, and where is Twisted Fate scariest, in the mid lane or the side lanes as he's ganking? And well, Kale. Kale is someone most likely not going to enter the jungle, but can deal with most top laners quite well, especially with a little bit of backup from someone like Kha'Zix.
And I'm kind of looking to see Jungle Kale seems as strong in the newest patches as pretty much anything else. So that there's a potential for that. We'll see where this is going to end up going. Plus, but then again, it is Alex Hitch, and he does like playing Kale, but he loves playing Kha'Zix too. It's so hard to tell. I can't decide. Riven going to be the
And you
lock
know
in here
what?
for JWoww.
Yeah, gamers too may not be able to decide either. Going with that Riven pick, Riven does really well versus Kha'Zix versus Kale. Not, it can be a little bit rough just because she does have that range advantage. However, regardless if she does close that distance, Kale not exactly a very tanky champion. Riven though can of course have many problems laning versus champions like Kale if he does fall behind.
And also, a really well timed intervention can shut down so much of JWoww's burst if he's able to get it off at just the right moment, or just kind of break up the combo. Same thing as well for Lee Sin. Like Lee Sin and Riven together is a really horrifying ganking combo for a low mobility champion like Kale who just has the haste. You can get the haste like completely burned if you get kicked right as it starts up, and then by the time you have control of your character again, you're not fast anymore. So that's pretty scary. But if he's able to time the intervention just right, maybe Alex Hitch can get himself out of those bad situations, as that does look to be the matchup.
He definitely has that outplay potential when it comes to surviving Riven burst and surviving Lee Sin burst. Of course, if he can hold his ultimate, to use on the execute from Riven or even the execute from Lee Sin, as they are both execution-based champions, there's a lot of mitigation going on. I do want to see if they get an early gank onto Riven, because if Riven falls behind, she can wave clear versus some champions. Kale does not leave room for that though. Kale is one of those amazing pressure champions because she's ranged. She has a substantial nuke. You never have a safe spot versus her unless she's out of mana.
So Nuke Duck with a Twisted Fate. That's one thing we haven't talked about either. Is a Twisted Fate can easily influence either side lane and have a pretty massive impact on those. I like the pick against a Nidalee as well, because Nidalee just doesn't have the early lane pressure to force a Twisted Fate out or put him behind, which would discourage him, roaming as soon as he hits level 6 and either invading aggressively with his jungler or just going into the side lanes and putting someone behind. So I really like this adaptation here from the side of Rest and Pepperonis. And I feel like this is a big part. In the games yesterday, TF and Kale were permabanned against Rest and Pepperonis. And it was the
There's got
Lulu
to be a
that got
reason
out
for
more
that.
often than not. Yeah, there absolutely has to be. And I have this sinking feeling in my gut that we're about to find out why.
But with that, we'll take a moment, let our guts sink as we're well into the spectator delay. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, but first shout out to our sponsors, Logitech and ProBuilds.net. But here we are, Solomid Invitationals number 1 of 2014. Taking it on the European side, we'll have Rest and Pepperonis versus Gamers 2 coming back in a bit.
To the game number 1 of this weighted best-of-5 grand finals between Rest and Pepperonis and Gamers 2. I'm Malphus X, being joined here by Studio, and we're about to conclude the first invitational of the Solomid Invitationals 2014, brought to you in part by Logitech and ProBuilds.net. People buying their items, heading out onto the Rift. Studio, talk to us about the level 1. Is there any potential to see some brawling?
There's always potential with Twisted Fate, just because Pick a Card does have that reliable stun. Nami has bubbles as well, so I'm liking a lot more for Rest and Pepperonis. But I'm also not loaded in entirely, so I have no idea.
All right, so we see teams actually kind of taking mirrored approaches. Rest and Pepperonis got an early ward down onto their red, which has not spotted anyone out just yet, but we'll very soon see, yes indeed, there it does reveal Gamers 2 as they go in for the invasion. And as soon as they see that, the side of Rest and Pepperonis step forward here, looking to get some deep wards down into the enemy jungle as well. Relic shields start coming out here for Dude, and a pure consumable start being opted for by Mithy, as the rest of his team just going to rely on that vision. And you see, once again, that pink ward down deep in the jungle. That's typically a brush that people don't check a whole lot, but because that ward has become as popular as it has in the last week or so, I expect to see more junglers kind of checking that brush very, very early on in the game.
And Gamers 2, we saw them going for a lot of 4v0 style pushes, 4v2 pushes in the last series versus Invaders, but this time it looks like they're going for standard play. Their top laner is at top, not looking to seal the blue buff or red buff or anything like that. So it looks like a standard start for both sides. But we actually do have 4 members strong for Rest and Pepperoni, so that could be their plan. They could be going for the 4-2 push or some sort of just adapting strategy.
We'll see what the call is going to be here. Alex is sticking around with Ko. So the 4v1 or 4v0 push certainly seems likely in this scenario, as they're going to look to get that fast level 2. They're going to find JWoww. JWoww, we use Broken Wings to just piece the heck out of there. Ko trying his not actually flashes forward. Ko feels like they have kill potential. JWoww going to flash behind his turret as well, so they trade flashes and put enough damage down onto JWoww that he's going to have to vacate the area immediately.
Alex Siege is incredibly low on HP though. Isn't going to be able to burn both health potions. Will be decently high, but in comes a push, no one there to defend. This is going to be a strong, very short-lived turret now for Gamers 2, as Rest and Pepperoni is just going to push in. Now, they can try counteract this push, but Lee Sin is going for the jungling instead, focusing on experience, and they do not have Riven in the area for Gamers 2. So turret advantage going to go towards Rest and Pepperonis, at least this early on, this early part of the match. We might see if they keep going for the push. We might see if we see more pressure coming out. It looks like actually JWoww stopped running for a second there. Might have just clicked on the minion on accident, and that minion had died, so that will stop movement commands. But that wasted time will cost them.
We'll see how this is going to end up working out, because Rest and Pepperonis are pushing against the extra turret protection early on, and they didn't wait for a cannon wave to come back in. So the towers are going to die at almost identical times, within 5 seconds of one another. So realistically, that early push, maybe Rest and Pepperoni jumped the gun a bit on it, but in either case, they had the tougher tower to push down, and they did it marginally faster than the opposing side. So this is a pretty even early game here throughout the first 3.5 minutes.
JWoww's going to have some time to farm up at the top lane. If you can get Freeze, it'll be very, very useful to him, just because Riven versus Kill in a straight-up 1v1 can be very dangerous. And also, really, JWoww spending some extra time farming means Alex will be forced to roam, and they can try and just stop that push with wave clear from, let's say, Lucian and Lee Sin. Mithy in the mid lane, doing quite well for himself, equal in CS with Ocelot. Ocelot not going to be able to do that much pressure onto Mithy right now. You can see the pick a card. A little bit of turret damage. Definitely a push, a focus game right now. I want to see how Rest and Pepperoni's kind of adapt to this. Are they going to focus on pushing their lanes down? We already see Twitch roaming towards what looks like the mid lane. And if they're pushing towards the mid lane, they're not going to be going for kills so much as just trying to take more objectives, more turrets down.
And we'll see. Also, like you mentioned, he's going to be completely concerned with getting just as much experience and farm as possible. He's not going to try to put any harass on a nuke duck pretty much at all. Well, I mean, he could if he has the opportunity, but the opportunities are pretty much never going to be there, and that's fine. You know, Nidalee players are a-okay with coming out of their lane dead even in farm and experience because of the fact that the javelins will become so incredibly threatening as you start heading into the late game.
Oh, of course, and something difficult for Ocelot as well is if they do go for an aggressive push, they're not going to really be able to. He's not going to be able to land a spear because there's so many minions blocking that out. Luckily, Lee Sin does have a lot of wave clear in the form of Tempest Cripple. It's not the best in the game, but it's an extra 100 damage right now, which just culling the wave as much as possible is pretty massive. Looks like Riven finally reached the top turret, though. We'll see Twitch catch that wave in response. And finally, some experience heading towards Freeze and Korean support 69XX.
Which is, of course, the real Mithy. Big shoutouts to Nukeduck and Mithy for trolling the hell out of us with their summoner names. Bunch of jerks.
It's good work, it's good work. TSM Mithy. I believe we also had TSM Monty for a bit. Not sure what happened with that one. Well played on the names, guys. Well played.
So Alex down in the bottom lane is just finding opportunities to shove waves in under tower and then find something else to do. Obviously, he has to be a little careful in the long lane situation against a champion like Thresh, who has an insane amount of CC and then all the Lucian damage can cause a lot of problems. But he rotates up towards the mid lane with the rest of his team, and they've got 3 people here to try to shove this in under tower as well. And we'll see if they're able to get anything done. Right now, it's just about minions.
Now gonna walk into JWoww. Wow, JWoww gets a lot of damage.
Damage. Oh my goodness, a max range javelin gonna pick up first blood for Ocelot as Code just takes a nap on his positioning.
He walks into the jungle. He gets caught out versus Riven. That's not exactly that uncommon, but unfortunately, he did not leap out in time. That spear was not visible to him too because it was coming over the wall from the Wraith camp. So really good snipe out from that position. Ocelot gets the blue buff, has a lot of experience, and he's now just going to focus on pressuring, applying pressure, trying to deny Nukeduck level 6 as much as possible. Nukeduck should be, yeah, he's going to get one more minion, but at least at this point he's already pushed in, so he can't immediately roam.
Really nice hook coming over the wall there from Dude, forcing the flash out of Alex Ich. That's what we were talking about, long lane situation with the Thresh. You know, a champion like Kayle is going to have to be so careful never to get caught out.
She is fast, yes, but at the same time, there's a lot of really strong CC. The Flay, top lane would be Riven's just massive chase potential. That can definitely give Alex a ton of trouble. Ocelot misses Spear mid lane. It's okay, though, because he's still applying that pressure, keeping Twisted Fate mid. And that's what matters more so much than actually getting the kill or getting the harass, just making sure he's stuck there because of the minions. Cow takes another Spear, already down to half HP.
Freeze, going to get jumped up by Morden. He's going to try to back himself away from this, and the red buff has not yet been taken. They're trying to pull it away and peel back from Gamers 2. Morden gets in with the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combined with Smite, secures his own red buff. And we see a situation where Rest and Pepperonis end up losing a ton of HP trying to make an invasion happen that doesn't go in their favor.
Ocelot spears and landing when it matters. Great harass too from Morden as well. That Lee Sin combo, always nice and bursty. But really, I'm giving credit to Ocelot here. He's landed a key 3 spears. In that jungle fight, he landed 2 spears, got 2 members of Rest and Pepperonis down to half HP. It's not a kill, but it's that pressure, it's that control, it's that extra bit of objective focused play that ends up benefiting from it. Of course, that past spear lighting on the Ko in the jungle fight, giving him first blood. Like, he's just landing spears when it matters. Which is odd to say, like, sometimes they're unimportant, sometimes just for pressure. Alex H in the bot lane, caught out, is hit by the exhaust, is hit by the hook.
He's going to use the counter exhaust onto Yuki as well. Can Alex H make anything happen here? Here comes Morden as well, and that's going to do it. He gets the assist from safeguarding Dude, and that's a quick kill, second kill of the game, going over to Gamers 2, and they're going to look to capitalize with the Dragon.
Switch up in the top lane. Twitch would be really effective in a Dragon fight just because of that extra bit of damage and really the long-range safe DPS of Ratatat. However, not going to be in the area, as we also see Mithy heading up there as Nami, so a free Dragon really, unless unless we see an ultimate from Nukeduck to steal those wild cards, but that's not going to happen.
So I really like the map control that we've seen here from Gamers 2, and it's also worth pointing out that when Ocelot landed that Javelin and got the first blood, he also got a blue buff for it. So their blue buff has been up for some time now. They've just been kind of waiting for that blue to fade away so they can give the second one over to Ocelot and just kind of maximize the time that he'll have all of that mana regeneration and all of that cooldown reduction to continue spamming out those spears. And he's already got an Athene's Unholy Grail done as well. The cooldown reduction for him is going to be, I mean, he's going to be pushing 30% plus whatever he's got from Runes and Masteries. And this is a terrifying Nidalee mid game.
Oh yeah, they're at a point now where if Nukeduck wants to roam from his lane, he will have to give up, a good 2 to 3 waves of experience. Alex H already taken up the mid lane role now. He can't sustain, but it really Ocelot has so much burst and so much damage. If he finds himself safe to harass, Alex will just lose that trade outright. So they're losing a lot of control in terms of pressure, and they're gonna lose a lot of farm on Twisted Fate if they do try to send him out of lane, or really if they abandon the mid lane at all. Those waves will die very quickly. Sometimes winning a lane is about just, getting kills with an enemy champion. In this case, Ocelot, he can land a spear, he can go for some harass, but he's looking more just to deny waves into turrets.
And Alex Ich is going to be looking just to get as much experience as possible. The experience is going to be the big thing for him right now. Obviously, getting the gold would certainly be nice as well. He's only a stinger, but you see, that's the second javelin Ocelot's landed. That one was with the magic resist reduction from a bushwhack. And Alex Ich well below half HP despite his heals and even a heal coming in from Mithy to help out.
Yeah, Bushwhack is an amazing skill for the reduction armor and magic resist. People tend to forget about it because it's not really the most prominent part of the trap. Mostly you think about the damage in the eyes above your head, but that 20% just reduction means that spear is going to hurt that much harder. Kha'Zix lands, does not connect though, and just kind of backs out of the area. Spears do not connect. You got a siege going on. This is dangerous now for Rest and Pepperonis because if they get hit by a spear, I mean, that champion that gets hit might have to retreat just based off that. They do have a lot of heals, though, from both Kale and Nami.
And a lot of teams love Nidalee Lucian comps just for this reason, because you set up these like 10-minute sieges on towers. Hook goes down on a Ko, not going to follow up, but that's all they need. The hook plus the javelin, Ko well below half health, and it's going to give them an insane amount of control on this tower.
And he's going to go back to base. They could always just try and spam heals on him, but eventually mana becomes a major issue. And, well, sending Kaz back to base, they have the numbers advantage. This either means that Alex roams from the top like he's currently doing, or they get the turret in a 4v3 push. So overall, really solid play coming out from Gamers 2. This is, I mean, a 2,000 gold lead. It's going to be very difficult to stop this push.
This is Gamers 2. There's the culling coming back out. They want to commit to taking down the tower on this wave. Another javelin lands onto Alex Ich. He's going to get tagged with a sonic wave. Don't expect to see any resonating strikes coming out here, though. And Gamers 2 claim up their second tower of the game.
2.5k gold lead now for Gamers 2. Looking quite handy themselves. In comes Twisted Fatal, though. Flash out from Doity. Looks like he does survive. Will be fine. A summoner is burned, but it's okay, because you know what? Nukeduck just burned. Twisted Fate's ultimate does have a 140-second cooldown. That's 2 minutes, 20 seconds where he's going to be immobile. He's going to be a slow Twisted Fate, as he currently is, not having boots, just the Athene's and Holy Grail.
Javelin lands on a Ko. Ko initiates anyway. Going to have to use the Void Assault to get himself back out. Tidal Wave used as well. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the exhaust goes down onto JWoww. JWoww trying to chase Alex Ich. Going to use the ult. The intervention comes late. There's a flash forward. Ignite. JWoww going to chase him down under the tower. Picks up the third kill of the game for Gamers 2.
Oh, it's got a sting for Alex Ich. He knew it was coming. He tried to predict it. Unfortunately, just a fraction of a second too late. On my screen, they both started at the exact same time. Like, it was a hit and intervention at the same moment. But you know what? The damage went through. Alex Ich unable to survive. A spear lands taken. Kha'Zix down to below half HP off that one spear. That's the Unholy Grail. That's the level 5 javelin toss already. As bot lane, we do see initiation onto Doity.
Dude in a lot of trouble. Freeze trying to take him down with a rat-a-tat-tat, but not quite enough damage, and Mithy couldn't get in range to drop enough CC. The box used to keep the Twisted Fate out of arm's length. And still, I mean, everything seems to be going in favor of Gamers 2. They have a 3,000 gold lead here at the 13-minute mark.
It's just been objective-focused gameplay for a lot of it. Some of it was, good defense, good movement in the jungle, the Riven defense to try and make sure we could not see a Kha'Zix invasion lying in that spear. And now we just see a grouping coming out from Gamers 2 and grouping with Nidalee at this point in the game when Nidalee is ahead is incredibly powerful, incredibly incredible potential in these pushes. Because now it's just 1 or 2 spears landing on a member like Kha'Zix, who is very squishy to magic damage. Kale herself does not have a lot of magic resist, going for instead of a Athene's and Holy Grail build, going for a Nashor's 2 style build, which means no magic resist, a very squishy champion versus Nidalee. So Ocelot's kind of the center of the team, but the rest of Gamers 2 is backing him up so well. Oh, poor
Mithy was full health like a second ago.
Yeah,
he was full. He was just taken out. He was fine.
Oh. Every time you see the numbers on a Nidalee spear, it never seems right. Like, there's got to be something wrong off that. And it is wrong. It's so dirty watching these spears land.
Never has spearfishing looked so easy. That's just, what do you even do with that? Like, Gamers 2 comp just seems built around beating Rest and Pepperoni's comp when it comes down to it. Rest and Pepperonis are all about team fighting and forcing the issue in jungles or small closed-off corridors, whereas Nidalee Lucian is all about just sieging up outside your tower, throwing in javelins until someone gets taken down low, and then forcing the initiation. Like they have so many good options, and Rest and Pepperonis are just not getting their money's worth out of the Twitch, out of the Kale, or out of the Kha'Zix.
If the laning had gotten better, they could be selling this out a bit more. Ocelot wouldn't hurt for as much as he does right now. They'd have a lot more options, but laning did not go that well. Alex Each is 0-2-0. He doesn't have a finished item. Compare that to JWoww, who is behind on farm, but does have that Tiamat already finished. We will see Thresh Express. JWoww out of a little bit of danger, but it looks like Dragon's going to be taken for free, but mid is being threatened now by Rest and Pepperonis.
Gamers 2, grabbing up yet another dragon. There's the tidal wave. They want this initiation. Hook goes down onto Mithy as well. Dude gonna be the first target. He will fall down. Nuke Duck picks that kill up. Bubble goes on to JWoww. JWoww trying to get himself away. Ko chases down towards Ocelot. Has to back away as Morden locks him back up. Now we see there's the Q coming back out. Twisted Fate pops the ultimate. Trying to chase that down. He's gonna use his ultimate to move about 600 units. Gets another stun down onto Morden. Flash comes out. Ko picks that kill up as Morden was going for the ward jump.
Oh!
Another javelin lands. Max range onto Alex Itch. He falls down yet again. This javelin going to take Mithy down to almost nothing. Bushwhack on the freeze. Mithy has to be careful. He doesn't step on one of those traps. It will be enough to kill him. Ocelot trying to chase this down. Has the reveal on the freeze. Is the javelin going to land? He tries to predict the juke. Freeze flashes anyway. And Ocelot's still on the hunt. He wants this coin. He's not going to get it. Mithy able to juke that one out. And, oh, Ocelot, he's still hunting. He's still hunting. Can he find the Twisted Fate? Yes, he can. Not going to land that one, though. Nuke Duck juking away. Ko able to pick this one up. He's still going for this one. Has Yuki there to support. Yuki, relentless pursuit through the wall. Ocelot picks that kill up. Now he's got a red buff, trying to chase back down on Nuke Duck. That javelin not going to land. Nice dodge coming out from Nuke Duck. He's trying to get away as quickly as he can. Burns the blue card on the minion to get it back off cooldown, so he can hopefully get another stun. Now we got Dude coming back in. Javelin's going to land. Death Sentence will not, and that will finally be the end of the action for the moment.
I mean, that was initially a 1-for-2, still in favor of Rest and Pepperonis in the end, but now with that extra kill onto poor Kaz, is going to even it out 2-for-2. Does it finally get some kills on the board for Rest and Pepperonis, but we're seeing the power of just Nidalee cleanup. It was just a few key spears, and it wasn't just Nidalee picking up 2 kills in the end. It was also Nidalee able to go ahead and chase out, I believe, a total of 4 members of Rest and Pepperoni. And he picked up the kill on the first one anyway, so he really chased everybody out on his own. So they can...
I was just saying, Andy was burning flashes too, right?
Yeah.
Like, Mithy had to burn his flash, Freeze burned his flash because he was afraid of the javelin. The Nidalee pressure is just unstoppable right now.
And you know what? His team really kind of stalled that out. JOL was able to retreat. DoD took a ton of damage at the beginning and, died. But he burned a lot of cooldowns were burned on him, just killing off the Thresh ASAP. So his team essentially backed him up just by throwing their bodies in front of the rest of Rest and Pepperonis. And it was enough. It was enough to land a few key spears. Ocelot is on point, and that's really important to just notice because Nidalee's usually kind of play their game based off landing some spears. You toss out 100 spears, you land 10. If you land them at the right moment, it's huge. Ocelot's landing a ridiculous amount of spears. He's almost soloing most champions. He's caught up in the top lane, though.
This isn't going to go too well for him. The Dragon's Rage actually puts him out from the Wind Slash. Can he get the trade kill back out? He's kiting so well, but no, it's not going to be enough. Morden stays alive, and JWoww picks up his second kill of the game.
The other thing about that is Flash and Exhaust both burned by Alex, each unable to pick up a kill. He did get assist too and has farmed up quite a bit, so he is still worth money. Sometimes you can just play that zombie style of game. It's a lot harder to do that nowadays, though, and Alex still able to be worth cash is making these deaths really build up in favor of gamers too. Top turret now being pressured by Rip, no one in the area to defend. Twisted Fate could ult up top. Ulting up top versus a very scary Riven as a Twisted Fate with an Athene's Unholy Grail. I would not recommend it for him.
Yeah, that's not going to go too well for him. So just going to be JWoww taking down this tower and extending the turret lead to 3-1 right now. So, I mean, things looking pretty good here for gamers too. It's worth pointing out that Invaders did have a bigger lead yesterday against a team with Freeze playing Twitch, and they did bring it back. But if Ocelot continues to land these javelins at the rate he's been going, I think they're in a really good spot to equalize the series here. Of course, this is the first game, but it is a weighted best-of-5. So technically, Rest and Pepperonis lead 1-0 right now.
It's only 2 games for Rest and Pepperonis to take out the finals. Well, Gamers 2 do have to win 3. However, Rest and Pepperonis didn't have to didn't lose any series, so that's why they do get that advantage. If I was Gamers 2 right now, I would just keep up this pressure. Just keep going for, brief sieges. Look for the objectives. Look for the focus. Alex H himself, he needs to find a way to survive versus Riven in lane, which is going to be a little bit tough. You can just try and stay near his turret. But if Joe ever gets close to Alex H at this point, even with the amount of DPS Joe can do, he's still going to die. He's still going to lose out in that trade in the end, especially with the exhaust being down and Flash Ignite being up for JWoww.
The other thing that's worth pointing out too, Freeze trying to make some assassination potential happen, but if they go just like hard 4-1 split push, right? The initiation here is basically maybe Twisted Fate ults, but he doesn't have Zanya, so that would probably be suicide. Maybe the Twitch comes in from the flank as Morden's even denying their jungle farm right now. But like JWoww can take Alex H 1v1, but we've seen that demonstrated. And the initiation potential is just so low. It's like Nami ultimate. That's pretty much it. Whereas the side of Gamers 2, every champion except for Thresh is extremely mobile in their own right. So they can just get away from Nami tidal waves. So if they just siege up like this, use that blue buff on Ocelot and just throw in javelins, Rest and Pepperonis have almost no options for initiating fights to shut that down.
Not really, no. It's really going to come down to a nuked Twisted Fate, maybe either ult in, like he said, but that will result in his death, or a flash stun. A flash field guard could do quite a bit. Especially able to land the death sentence. We do see Freeze moving forward. The cast goes down. It has Rat-a-tat active.
There's that flash gold card, but now he has to turn right back around. The tidal wave does go out. JWoww comes in from the side. He gets exhausted, has to run back out. Ko trying to run the front on this one, using his stealth as best he can. Death sentence going to land as his team retreats. He flashes away. There's the intervention as well. Ko trying to get back out. Alex Hitch extremely low, but will survive. However, at the end of this, the fact that the Nidalee heals are still here, the Nidalee pressure is still there, is going to give control of the tower over to Gamers 2.
Yuri barely survived. We might see Nukta go for that snipe actually after he does heal up. And in the end, who wins the fight? No one dies, but it's still 5 members surviving. 5 members able to push down that mid turret and stay in lane. Like, that was a great initiation. They actually did a lot better than I would have expected, just based off the fact that it was initiation from Freeze as Twitch. Twisted Fate unable to pick up any kills, unfortunately. But
he will delay JWoww's back, and I think more than anything else, he wanted to try to see if he could catch people out and be able to respond with either a dragon or a turret for his team.
They're rotating towards dragon. A lot of cooldowns were burned. No Rat-a-tat available. Not too many major cooldowns are on the side of Gamers 2. Think about it, it's mostly the box and Riven's ultimate. The Dragon's Raid was used, but really just for the DPS more so than the CC.
Oh. Freeze thought he had an assassination moment there, but then he finds the rest and Pepperonis waiting for him. So he's going to have to turn away as soon as it goes in with the stealth. And just like that, Rest and Pepperonis do successfully Gamers 2 keep Rest and Pepperonis from taking down the dragon before they can respond. Now both teams pretty much just waiting around here. Yuki pushing in the mid lane. But teams are ready for this, and they're going to contest this dragon.
This is a hard dragon to contest, especially if they do keep vision over the side of Gamers 2. Ocelot is going to be tossing out those spears. You can even burn them on the dragon to kill it faster.
Goes in for the steal, gets caught up by the death sentence. Intervention goes down onto Ko. Ko trying to get himself away from this one, using the Void Assault, trying to buy time. Ocelot taking very low. Morden has to be there to protect him. JWoww goes in onto Ko, picks up that kill. Can he get himself back out? No, he cannot. Dies to Ko in response before the Dark Passage can get him back out. So they end up trading top laner for jungler. However, Gamers 2 do successfully take down the dragon.
This is going to be a surprising gold swing coming up. As look at top lane, look at that massive minion wave. That I gotta say, that's about 20 minions up there. That actually they're just gonna let die of the turret. So Yuki is finally trying to rotate towards it. It was a good fight. It was a good initiation. But they could not lock on Ocelot. Unfortunately, Tidal Wave is burned. Ocelot is gonna go ahead. Can he cat to the side and be a-okay? This push is gonna be hard for him to stop on his own. He actually might be out of position here if the stun does connect, but not quite.
Flank coming in from the other side. Morden lands the Sonic Wave. Going to go in with a Resonating Strike. Alex H going full suicide mode for the turret. Going to throw on the intervention. He uses the exhaust on Ocelot as well. Can he? Yes, he does. Huge outplay. Flashes away from the pounce. Gets the shutdown. Slow goes onto Dude. Dude flashes away. Doesn't matter. Auto attack comes out from Alex H, and he picks up the double kill in the 2v1. Morden now going back in. He's been chasing Mithy the whole time. Ward jump over the bubble. He's going to be able to chase this one down. Sonic Wave lands. Wants to give it over to Yuki, but the Spirit of the Elder Lizard going to claim that kill. A beautiful play from Alex H, takes down 2 on his own and gets out.
He gets a turret as well. He's still on the run, actually, running through some wards. They might still be able to pincer him off. He's looking for that sweet save rush to recall him, but he doesn't have intervention. He doesn't have mana. If he gets caught out, he's not able to fight back. He's just going down. He's still going for the escape, going for the execute, it seems. However, the culling, even if it doesn't cull him directly, I mean, Alex H, what are his options now? Just going for the recall.
Dude actually going to use the Dark Passage to pull Yugi in. Well. He's got the move speed buff. No, the death sentence doesn't land. Is it enough time? Intervention! He's
Go for the turret! Oh.
He's gonna end up going down on that one. Yuki finally able to take down the kill. But he led him on a merry chase and was able to successfully secure one tower for his team. So rest in Pepperonis, this is just like what we saw yesterday. They got pretty behind in the early game, but some signs of life, and if they're able to get Freeze going, you never know what might happen again.
They're able to get Freeze going. Alex Each still has a lot of fight in him. He has not had a decent game in terms of kills and deaths in that ratio, but he still has 166 CS. It's not the most in the game, it's actually kind of low compared, actually the lowest to solos, but it's still enough to give him that base kill set. He's got the Gnasher's Tooth, it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of really sustained KL DPS coming out from him now, so he can trade like we saw.
And the other, we have to watch Twitch's items too. Freeze is going to be the guy who will eventually hit critical mass if they're able to force the right fight. And this is almost exactly what he had in yesterday's game when he got that triple kill outside of Baron and turned it back around for his team. He had the Blade of the Ruin King, he had a Zeal, and I want to say that he had the Cloak of Agility instead of the Pickaxe as kind of the supplemental item. But once he was able to win that one team fight, he just picked up a straight up Infinity Edge at the 25-minute mark. So I assume Gamers 2 watched that game, and I'm expecting them to avoid Baron unless they feel really confident that they're going to be able to take either the fight or just claim the objective.
Gamers 2 is not going to stop. They really can't stop until they see Twisted Fate go back to base. Because if they keep pushing, if they try and retreat now, they might lose the turret. They land the hook onto Freeze though!
Freeze, there's a bubble coming back out. Tidal Wave as well, trying to disengage. Nuke Duck is able to take down the turret in the bottom lane. However, they lose their AD carry. Freeze goes down to JWoww. And that's going to be Gamers 2 taking control of the top lane.
Are they going to rotate? Okay, for a second I thought they might be rotating towards the Baron. They actually still might do that. Only JWoww going back to base, and he is fairly low on HP. All comes out from Alex Each. They do have eyes on them, watching where they go. Not a whole lot is revealed. Looks like they're going to rotate towards mid, just make sure Alex Each can't get any more pressure and push on. They get the turret. They're able to push towards the base, but Alex Each still picks up 2 turrets bottom, so it's an okay trade. In the end, they don't want Freeze dying, but they're still getting those global objectives down.
Oh, Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck a little bit caught. Tempest Cripple goes down. Ko's there to help out. Ko jumps in onto Ocelot. Ocelot going to be to pounce himself away from that one. Gives the return Javelin, but that's going to be about the end of that one. And you're right. I mean, Nuke Duck just went on a tower destruction tour and was able to get a lot of work done for his team, kind of stalling this one out. Alex Each steps forward, gets a slow down on Ocelot. He's not going to commit too hard, and Dude was waiting in the brush to give him the old death sentence hug of Hooky Doom.
That's the extended name, right? That's the one that you have to read the skill description for.
Yeah. Hold down Alt while you mouse over the skill, and it'll give you the information there on the Alt title.
Now, there's still really good split push potential if they can really keep Nuke Duck in a side lane, keep getting down to the objectives and turrets. But at the same time, that means that Gamers 2 kind of has to give that up. They have to kind of actively stop fighting the lane, go for a 5-man push to let that happen. Ocelot back in the mid lane, there's a lot more healing now from Nami, a little bit more sustained from Kayle as well, so those spears are a little less effective, still pretty high damage, so if Ocelot lands 1 spear now, it's not as scary as it used to be.
Yeah, as people's magic resist total start to climb, Ko. Oh, Ko's going to go for a hard initiation, opens up onto Dude. Dude going to get the flay down, trying to buy some time. Tidal Wave goes down. That's actually going to be the end of that one. Death Sentence goes down onto Ko. Ko going to have to get himself away from this. Box goes down as well. Some decent damage coming out from the culling onto Freeze. Freeze takes a lot of that one, down below half health. He's going to have to get himself away from this one, but does successfully do so. They've got Nami and Kayle to just try to spam heals and keep everyone healthy from the Nidalee Siege. But so far, that hasn't been quick enough to keep their health totals high enough to really defend these towers. Nuke Duck and Alex Hitch running the front on this one. Death sends down onto Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck gets the intervention, however, he's going to be able to back himself up. And the siege will continue.
Keeps his flash up as well, which if you see someone out of position, a Twisted Fate flash stun it's still a solid initiation. It's still a 2-second stun once that pick a card is maxed out, which it should be at this point.
And Gamers 2 just letting Yuki get as many auto attacks onto the creep wave as possible to health steal himself back up. Ko gets hooked up. He's going to be able to jump himself back out. Ocelot at the back of the fight has to pounce to get away from this one. He's still slowed up by that Venom cast. Will be able to successfully disengage, and Gamers 2 want no more of this bottom tower.
Rat-a-tat not available for freeze, but they still hold. They make sure Gamers 2 cannot keep up that push. They're stopping the Nidalee Siege, but Dragon is going to be taken more or less for free. We do have Kha'Zix in the area. Alex Each does toss the ward over the wall, but a little bit too late, and Dragon already gone.
Is that the fourth Dragon of the game now? No, that seems too many. That's got to be the third.
I believe it's the third Dragon, yes. If not, I mean, feel like it could almost
Unless they took it at 4 minutes. I don't think it was quite that early.
Not quite that fast.
In either case,
pretty early, though.
It's been Gamers 2 dominating the Dragon the entire game. There hasn't been one picked up yet for Rest and Pepperoni, even when Ko tried to make that big steal. He wasn't able to outsmite Morden, combining it up with the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. So the objective control has been pretty well in favor of Gamers 2 the entire game. The kill score obviously in their favor. And the CS has been relatively even with a slight advantage for Gamers 2. Again, pretty much the entirety of the game.
Nuto getting his own blue buff as the Death Sentence almost picks it up. I would love to see a Thresh steal a blue buff like that. It does happen every now and then, but tough to compete with the damage of wild cards.
Just ask Afromu. It'll happen. Hey, it can happen.
It'll happen. All right, now Baron being looked at, being pinged on. This is the moment for Rest and Pepperoni to shine, because every time Baron happens, teams tend to lose, and it's usually the winning team that starts up that Baron. But we can see Kha'Zix now trying to recall in that top part of the map. Least him looking to interrupt this. It could start a fight.
He's going to go in onto this one. Ko just turns it back around and outtrades the damage by quite a bit. So he's going to be okay with that one, although he would certainly like to get back to base and finish up that Randuin's before the next fight starts up. That's exactly how much gold he has. He's got plus 100 over the Randuin's combined cost right now. But will not be able to do so, and it's all up to, look at how they use the Twisted Fate to try to maintain awareness and control of the map in the times where, Freeze is off getting red buff, but people are not really in position to be applying pressure. So they use the Twisted Fate ultimate to kind of shore up that weakness and then try to maneuver around the map and get as much vision control as they can. It's
essentially 8 seconds of don't do anything because we know where you are. And it's those 8 seconds of stalling, those 8 seconds of just kind of wasting time means that Baron becomes all of a sudden this very, very difficult objective to start. They can't really focus on just hiding as well because it means that their jungle's up for grabs. So they kind of have to spread out, play a little more defensively on the side of a Gamers 2 when TF pops those eyes. Mid lane now being pressured. Freeze very far forward.
Freeze goes in for the full assassination. Not quite going to be able to take Yuki down. Gets him extremely low. But the culling in return gets almost as much damage back out onto Freeze in response. And Freeze, Twitch has it just right. He's trying to be sneaky. The double heals from Nami and Kale, not quite keeping up with the heals from Nidalee alone.
500 HP heal onto Yuki with the Nidalee heal. It's just amazing, actually. Of course, the attack speed boost means it's effective in team fights. In comes Freeze!
Round 2, doesn't have the Blade of the Ruin King this time around, but will not be able to make anything happen in that case either. So with the red buff, he's just going full assassination mode. He wants to try to take people down, but he hasn't been able to really find the opportunities yet.
He's looking for the pickups, and they're pretty nice pickups. He's getting a lot of damage, but I believe Blade of the Ruin King was already on cooldown for that last engagement, and of course Riven not exactly an easy champion to lock down with slows. It's pressure, it's damage, it's a little bit more harass, it's keeping the members of Gamers 2 on their toes. He just can't do that at the wrong time. That's something that's risky. If he messes that up, it's not, oh, I don't get the kill, it's, oh, I die.
He's trying one more time before he gets a slowdown onto Dude. There's the hook going down. The intervention in response. They don't have Ocelot with him. He was coming down from the top lane. Yuki going to be the one to pick up the first kill as Freeze goes down. JWoww drops the ultimate. Alex Ich gets taken on extremely low. Ko goes in for the Void Assault and then gets hooked up immediately. Exhaust goes down as well. Can he get himself away from this one? Jukes out the Javelin. Flash comes out. Sonic Wave not going to land. Ocelot committing hard to this one. Flashes forward. There's the pounce to pick up the kill onto Ko. And just like that, it's 2-0 in favor of Gamers 2.
That was the it's, oh, I died. He went far forward. He went past the vision, essentially. He went past the brush area in the middle lane, where all of a sudden being engaged on from the side is very, very possible. And engaging on a Thresh like that, he just turns around and lands a Death Sentence to Beauty with the easy setup, converting that into a really solid kill. Never mentioned not enough to keep Twitch alive. Now, Twitch, Kha'Zix down. This Baron is very easy to take. There is no smite steal. There is no easy way for them to really lock this down. Of course, Nidalee Spear is going to be a major threat to the members of Rest and Pepperonis.
And just like that, the first Baron of the game going over to Gamers 2. They do get a beautiful flank. JWoww locks up Nuke Duck and Mithy. They're going to flash over the wall, the both of them. The bubble will land, and that'll be the end of that one. But just like that, Gamers 2, they extend their gold lead. They're up. Oh, that's it. That's 10,000 gold. And they have the Baron buff, and they have control of the map.
They also beat Invaders, so maybe they didn't learn the lesson of throwing a game with 10,000 gold lead from them as well. This is rough for Rest and Pepperonis. Their team comp is just not designed to really deal with especially hard engage. In comes Twisted Fate. Can they land a stun on someone important?
Ko going for the flank, opens up onto Dude. Not going to be able to get the damage down. Alex Ich has to pop the intervention as he loses all of his health almost instantly. JWoww picks that kill up with the Wind Slash. Ko doing what damage he can, then has to leap himself back out. It's once again 1-0 in favor of Gamers 2, and they are not done pushing.
Oh.
Javelin lands on to Mithy. Mithy taken down to almost nothing, and the siege will continue. Dude trying to get into range to close up onto Freeze. Freeze going to go into ambush. The hook almost lands anyway, and Gamers 2 claim the first inhibitor of the game.
Easy pickup, easy cleanup, easy life for them right now. They're going to rotate towards top. They can just push this wave up. Alex on up for a good 20 seconds. That's enough time, actually more than enough, to go ahead and pick up this top turret, unless we see Rest and Pepperonis put up the defense. Not a lot of mana on Yuki. Oslo himself kind of low as well, so they might be able to make something happen, but they really need Alex.
Nice bubble lands onto Yuki, and that will stall out the push for the moment. You can't DPS when you're inside a bubble. It's just how it goes. And Gamers 2...
What if you have a Sunfire Cape?
Even... Well, actually, I don't know. That has an AD carry, okay.
Alright. What if you have a bad build? Or what if you have an awesome build?
The best build.
Regardless.
Everybody's going to back away. Look at the gold totals here for Gamers 2 as they're heading back. 2,400 gold on JWoww. 21, like 20, I mean, there's just, everyone was with 2,000 plus gold as they head back out. So that's going to be a massive stack of items coming in for the next push. And it's going to be, Rest and Pepperonis, I'm trying to think of a way that they can turn this back around, and I'm not really coming up with a whole lot. Gamers 2 have played this so well.
You get a consolation dragon at least. That's their first dragon of the game. Hey, that's something. It's not a lot. It's definitely not a lot at this point in the game, but it is something. Really, it's just been incredible team play, incredible defensive play, really. Like, they're able to go ahead and go for a pickoff, and then once they back out, once they have all the members of Gamers 2 on the retreat, that's when we start seeing Lee Sin start cutting. That's when we see actually Revan position and land a great death sentence.
I mean, Ocelot lands one javelin, death sentence goes down, and Alexich dies without using either summoner or his ult. That's how fast that happens at this point in the game. Ocelot with, I mean, I can't even express the amount of damage coming out from these javelins. It's unbelievable. And a beautiful hook over the wall from Beauty.
I can express the damage. It's about 1,650.
Ouch.
Over 1,500 damage. It's ridiculous. I want to say he can actually get some one-shots here. Duke being taken down low, though. The culling does cull!
Relentless Pursuit lives up to its name as he's able to get the last piercing leg down on a new duck, and another javelin lands. Ocelot takes 70% of the health away from Freeze as he sends it back to the fountain the fast way. Gamers 2 even up the series 1-1 after a dominating performance from Ocelots in Italy.
What happened to Freeze? I don't even know if that was I think that was like 90% of his HP. I think he was almost full, like one or two auto attacks with lifesteal from being full. But Ocelot, he lands those spears, and more importantly, him and the rest of Gamers 2, they finally take a win off Rest and Pepperonis. The